Welcome to the Vengacast. Today I'm with James the Ball. We're both NFL fans, casual NFL fans from the UK. I support the Packers. He supports the Indianapolis Colts. James, first of all, why do you support the Indianapolis Colts?
So it's a bit of a weird reason, but it was quite a few years back when I was younger, kind of getting into the NFL. Didn't really have a team to support.
Yeah.
Had no links to any certain place in America, so I had no reason to support anyone. So I just went with the Colts because one of my favourite TV shows at the time, the family on that, supported the Colts. So I decided to go with and then stuck with it, and I'm very happy with the decision.
Yeah.
So what about you with
last
the
season?
Oh, yeah.
Well, I've been watching the NFL since 2014. For the first year, I didn't really have a team. Just tried to watch everyone, sort of get a good grasp of what I sort of wanted to follow. And I think as soon as I watched the Packers, I watched Aaron Rodgers, all the guys, Jordy Nelson, just sort of fell in love with that whole offense.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think from there, I just sort of just love that team. Well, yeah, they have now, but at first it was good. It was good.
Well, it looks like it could be getting better now.
Yeah, it's getting better.
Good free agency, but new coach.
But yeah, I think just since I started following the Packers as well, just got more into Wisconsin sports in general. Then obviously getting more into the Packers, more into that whole sort of, I don't know what you'd call it, spirit, I guess.
Well, Milwaukee's a good sporting city as well.
Milwaukee, huge sporting city. Green Bay, probably the most historical NFL team that there is.
And then they've got two good Milwaukee teams in baseball and NBA. So
yeah, I was going to say Bucks number one in the NBA at the minute.
Yeah, so good stuff.
Oh well, should we get into what we're talking about today then? The free agency. Yeah, free agency, obviously a massive part of the NFL. Happens every year.
Yeah.
A lot of
exciting
movement
over the last couple of days as well.
Yeah, probably the second most exciting period after the draft, in my personal opinion.
Yeah, I love the draft. Nothing beats it.
Yeah. Right, so today we're just going to go through, I'm using a website called sportingnews.com, and they've ranked the top 100 free agents and who they've signed with. We're just going to be going through the top 25 today.
Yeah.
So starting at number 25, we have Sheldon Richardson, a defensive tackle who was signed for the Browns.
Mm-hmm. So I think it'll be an interesting one to see how it works out, because he had a good 2018 with the Vikings and kind of his best year or something.
Yeah, definitely.
But I know before last year with the Vikings he had troubles and problems with discipline, so it's whether he can remain composed, and I think he could be good for the Browns, who have been looking very good in this off-season.
Yeah, I mean, I really like this. Richardson last season, 4.5 sacks, 16 quarterback hits. Just a really good year.
Yeah.
And I think for in 3 years, he's getting $39 million, which might seem like a lot, but I don't know, I just think that whole defensive line, for him being part of that now at the Browns with Myles Garrett, Ogunjobi, Avery, Oliver Vernon, who they just traded for, Ogba, I think it's just going to cause chaos. I just think it's such a power move. It's taken to the next level, where that defensive line now, you sort of look at it and go, wow, that's scary to come up against.
I think it's the Browns have made the best moves so far in off-season. I think
controversial.
No, actually, one of the best. So.
I'll ask that at the end after we've been through the whole. We'll ask who your winners of free agency.
It's up to you.
Right, number 24, probably one of the bigger names in free agency, in my opinion anyway. Someone you'll know very well, coming from a Colts divisional rival, Tyrann Mathieu, moving from the Texans to the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, well, he's definitely one of the best players in the free agency, one of the biggest names.
Huge name. Honey Badger.
Yeah, very good safety. Still young at 26, I think he is.
27 years old in 2019.
27, okay. I think he would improve any team. So the Chiefs have got a very good player.
Yeah, a lot of people wanted him, didn't they? Oh, the Colts and Packers both wanted him.
The Colts were linked, yeah. Chiefs definitely needed to improve this secondary a lot, which was their weak point last year, so he can definitely help that a lot. So very good signing.
I think it shows the faith that they have in him, where they've decided that they're fine releasing Eric Berry, who was probably Kansas's most reliable defensive player for years. And they were happy to get rid of him to put all their faith in this guy at safety. I think it really shows what they think of him.
Yeah.
Although, I think the one question mark I would have here is how much they're paying him. But it does also make sense because I think the Landon Collins signing, which we'll get onto in a bit, sort of changed the safety market and how much safeties are getting paid, or secondaries in general.
Mm-hmm.
I think $42 million, it's quite a big deal. But I do think it'll come up big for the Chiefs. I do think it's worth it for them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's a great sign-off.
Because, like you were saying, everyone knows the Chiefs' offense is there. There's no question in that. But the defense really needed improving.
Yeah,
really.
Yeah,
Massive improvements.
Yeah, so good stuff, I think.
Yeah, really good start for them. 23, got Ziggy Ansah, who hasn't signed for a team yet, but is meeting the Buffalo Bills today.
Yeah, well, he's a good pass rusher. He's can get a lot of sacks. So I think if he signs with the Bills, which looks likely.
It does look very likely now.
He's a former first rounder, so he's got the quality, but it just depends.
And he's not too old. He's getting towards the end of his career. He's 29. He still has just a good few years in him.
So it depends whether he can kind of stay fit.
Yeah.
And
I mean, in 2017, he got 12 sacks, made the Pro Bowl. That was only 2 years ago. So he definitely has. He's proven he has the quality. It's just can he do it in this Buffalo team who aren't as strong as what the Detroit team was back then? There's obviously questions there, but I think, to be fair, I think he would be a solid signing for the Bills. I think, especially like you were saying before, for sacks. I mean, he's fourth all time in Lions franchise history for sacks with 48.
Yeah.
He's been in the NFL for 6 years now. He knows it well.
I think it'll be a good signing.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see how he does.
Yeah, I definitely think the Bills could have done. Well, they could do a lot worse than him, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Right, next, someone who also hasn't signed. Oh, wait, he has signed for a team. He signed yesterday for the 49ers, Tevin Coleman.
Yeah. I predicted him to go back with the Falcons. He's reliable.
Yeah. I thought he'd go back to the Falcons.
Explosive Falcons help out any team, so it's a good signing. I think it'll be interesting to see what he does, but very good running back.
Yeah, I mean, I think he proved last year, especially with he played a lot of games last year, whereas usually he was second choice for Atlanta. But I think 13 games he played last year, and he definitely proved his worth then. He done well. He wasn't one of the best, but he was consistent. Yeah. And I also think, obviously, 49ers head coach Kyle Shanahan was offensive coordinator when Coleman was at the Falcons. I think there's a lot of connections there which are really good, and obviously you know it well.
Yeah, I agree with you.
And it's not like the 49ers are purely relying on him. They also have, I mean, that backfield now has Matt Breida, Raheem Mostert, and Jerick McKinnon, who's coming back from surgery. So he's going to have the fight to get regular time in that team. So he can't just think he's an automatic starter. He will have to work for it.
Oh yeah, definitely. But he's not a good player to have within the team.
Yeah, exactly. I think he's just a good. I don't even want to say backup. I think they're all pretty equal. All the backfield that they have now. I think they all just have different skill sets, which will help the 49ers next season.
Yeah, I think it's a good addition to their team.
Yeah, definitely. Right, next I have Justin Houston, who in my opinion hasn't signed for. Well, he hasn't signed for a team yet, but in my opinion could be signing for the Colts.
So I think it cut off there. What do you say?
Justin Houston
Yeah,
could potentially, well, he could sign for anyone, but I'd like to see him sign for the Colts.
Yeah, oh yeah. Well, it'd definitely be a player I'd love at the Colts. We back up Darius Leonard very well. He's very experienced. He's a good edge rusher. He had a great season last year. He had a good season last year. I actually predicted him going to the Rams, but I'll definitely take him at the Colts.
Yeah, I think a lot of people think he's going to want to be paid a lot because it's sort of, he wants that last big payday in his career. He's getting on a bit now, but he's still a very good player. And I think if there's one team that's not going to be a problem for, it's the Colts. I mean, $106.4 million in cap.
Yeah,
speaks for itself. And he, in my opinion, fits your biggest need this offseason, which was an edge rusher. The same as most NFL teams this year, But I think for you already having a good team, it would just take you to, not the next level, but it would definitely be a really good building block on what you already have there.
Yeah,
like you were saying with Darius Leonard, to have someone like Justin Houston next to him helping, I think it can only benefit him.
Yeah,
it can only benefit you.
Yeah, no. I mean, it'll be an addition. Well, I think it could be a positive addition to any team.
Yeah, I mean, you made the playoffs last season, but you aren't going to want to stop there this year. You're going to want to build on that. You're probably going to. I think you've got the aim to win it all next year, in my opinion.
Well, I think we have to.
I think that's got to be the aim.
Did a great season last year with a young team that wasn't expected to do very much. I think with a few additions, experience as well, we can definitely put a push in.
Mm-hmm.
There are a few teams as well who look very good, including the Chiefs and obviously the Patriots, like always. But
yeah, I also think this makes a lot of sense because I saw your general manager, Chris Ballard, I want to say.
Yeah, that's right.
He was in Kansas City's front office through most of Houston's career. So obviously they're familiar with each other. He knows the sort of player Houston is. And maybe that'll help in convincing him to join the Colts.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think it'll definitely.
But like you were saying, I think he could really end up at any team. I wouldn't mind him in Green Bay if that was to be the case. But I do think for needs-wise and afford-wise, I think the Colts and him just seem like such a good match.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think it's. Yeah, I predicted the Rams, but I definitely think the Colts are in with it.
I could for sure see him at the Rams as well. Obviously, they want to improve on last year, disappointing Super Bowl. And I don't know. Well, obviously their defense was very good that game, but there's nothing wrong with adding him.
Definitely, yeah. So it'll be interesting to see. But
next, Mark Ingram, who was signed for the Ravens.
Yeah,
an interesting signing.
It is, yeah. He's a very good physical kind of running back. So it'll be interesting to see how he gets on. But I think a lot
of people questioning this because they're saying Lamar Jackson. The whole point of him being like the starting quarterback is that the Ravens don't really need a running game. So why spend like money, quite a bit of money, 3 years, $50 million on a running back when you've got Lamar Jackson who can do it himself?
Yeah,
that's the sort of question that people are asking. But
but I think it is a player that would back up Lamar Jackson very well. I think would also give them a strong running game. Also running down the middle because Lamar Jackson's obviously not very well, as we know, he's not very big.
Yeah.
He's more of a scrambler. Definitely help on short distances as well. Short downs that they need with his power.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it'd be it's a position that I think the Ravens needed.
I think Mark Ingram's a really good running back. I just think he was never going to get in the Saints team ahead of Kamara.
Definitely.
Because Kamara's just a different level.
Yeah.
And I think at $15 million over 3 years, it's not the most expensive. You know, they could have. It's hardly Le'Veon Bell, who they were also linked with, who's getting a lot more money than that.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is just a really solid, safe, just sort of filling a position. Yeah, I think it's not an amazing signing, but it's not a bad signing at all. I think this is very safe. They know exactly what they're getting.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Right.
Yeah, I think it'll be a good one.
Yeah, just a very standard, pretty safe one. Next, once again, someone who hasn't got a team yet and could really go to anyone again. Anyone who needs a wide receiver. Golden Tate, believe in the Eagles.
Yeah, definitely one of the better wide receivers available right now in free agency.
Probably, I would probably say the best still available.
Yeah, there's not many good ones available. I think
No.
he didn't have a great year last year, but I think he's a good wide receiver.
Yeah.
I predicted
he did get the winning touchdown against the Bears in the playoff round.
Well, that definitely made you happy.
Very big fan of.
Yeah, so he's one of your favourite players.
I'm going to be honest, I would have him at the Packers. I think he could be a very good second wide receiver with Adams, but I don't think he will end up at the Packers.
No.
Where do you have him ending up?
I predicted the Ravens.
Ooh.
I think wide receiver is a position they could
I would like to say that.
But be interesting. It's a hard one to predict, though, because he could be a good wide receiver for pretty much any team.
Yeah, I've went for the Titans. Obviously, a team you know very well, being in your division.
Yeah,
but I think the Titans need a wide receiver.
They do,
and
yes.
I think unlike I was mentioning the Packers, he would be the second best wide receiver. I've saw him linked to the Steelers. He would be the second best wide receiver there. A lot of teams, he would sort of be the second fiddle. Whereas I think at the Titans, he will be the main wide receiver there.
Yeah,
I think he will be the best one available. Obviously, they have Corey Davis, but I personally think that Golden Tate is better than Corey Davis.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I think obviously he was. I mean, I know you said he didn't have the best year last year, but you sort of quietly had a decent year. He had 30 receptions for 278 yards. Not bad. And obviously, a player who knows the league ridiculously well. He's going into his 11th season in the NFL.
Yeah.
And also, I've said the Titans potentially because he is actually a Nashville native. He's from Nashville, which I never realised until looking into this.
Well, that helps with anyone, doesn't it?
Titans fan.
Yeah. So, but it'll be interesting to see where he goes and how he gets on.
He could. I would say him and Justin Houston could literally go anywhere.
Oh, yeah,
pretty much.
Definitely, yeah. And
next,
a lot of teams.
Next, we're friends with a pretty big Giants fan, and he will not be happy about this one. Landon Collins has left and went to divisional rivals, the Redskins.
Yeah, I think it's a massive loss for the Giants here.
Huge loss.
Very good safety.
Huge. Probably the Giants' third best player, best defensive player.
He's a massive loss for the Giants. Big gain for the Redskins.
I was going to say, and it was sort of rubbing it into the wounds that he's went to a divisional rival rather than just leaving.
Yeah, I think our friend Adam was saying that. He's from Washington?
He's from he is a Washington native. He's a Redskins fan. I think
whether that
he idolised Sean Taylor growing up.
Yeah,
had the same jersey number, so it does make sense why he's went to, the Redskins. Although it does seem a bit, I don't know, going to a divisional rival. It's always controversial, but you can sort of see in this situation why he's done it.
Yeah, well, there's been a few controversial division moves,
and I think it makes even more sense when you realise he has signed a 6-year deal for $84 million.
It's massive amount
for a city. That's changed. It's changed the secondary market altogether. That one signing alone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think he's for sure an upgrade on a safety I know very well from all his years in Green Bay and Clinton Dix. I think he's much better than him personally.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like it for the Redskins. Like you say, I think it's even worse of a loss for the Giants than it's a gain for the Redskins. I just think he was so important for the Giants. I can't believe that they didn't even attempt to re-sign him.
Yeah, he's a very good.
I don't get what the Giants are doing at the minute, to be honest.
I don't. Yeah. They're definitely going downhill right now from not being even having a good season last year.
I hope that things get better for the Giants. Yeah. I don't know. I just don't know what direction they're going in at the minute.
Yeah, I thought there'd be the addition of Saquon Barkley last year, who had a great season.
He's the main guy. He's gonna have to carry them. He's gonna be the number one pick for a lot of fantasy football players next year because I think that run game is just going to be so heavily relied on next year.
Yeah,
Now that they've got rid of a certain Odell Beckham Jr. as well.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's big loss for the Giants.
Yeah. Right. Next, we've got Trent Brown, who joined the Raiders. What do you think of that move? An offensive tackle.
I think, well, he's a Super Bowl winner, isn't he?
Yep. Very good player again.
Very good season last year. Impressive player, so it'll be interesting to see how he gets on. But the Raiders are making some big moves.
Yeah.
Especially with Antonio Brown.
Trent Brown, in my opinion, absolute tank. You would not want to come up against him head on, 6'8", 350 pounds. Just not a football player you want to be coming up against.
No, and not at all.
It shows you what Oakland rate him as when you see they are paying him $66 million over 4 years. That's a lot of money to put into an offensive tackle. A mega deal.
I agree with you. But, well, I think it's a great signing for the Raiders.
Yeah.
They did need help. They did need help in that position. And they look like they're improving massively with the Antonio Brown, obviously. And then they just need to...
Yeah. I'd say the biggest question with the signing Trent Brown is that he was flagged for holding 7 times last season.
Yeah.
He committed 10 penalties. So that is something he does need to improve on. But obviously the Raiders don't see that as big enough of a problem to not pay him what they are committing to him. Yeah. Obviously they say... I mean, you'd rather that was sort of the problem than something physically, something that can't be helped. All they have to do to sort of stop them committing these fouls is, I don't know, just sort of get a word in his ear. Maybe tell them to calm down a bit. I think it's something that can be easily fixed. I don't think the Raiders will be worried about that.
Yeah. I think overall, good signing.
Yeah, like you were saying, I think the Raiders in general making some big moves this year. They're really pushing for it. People thought this was going to be a long, drawn-out rebuild, but they're sort of proving a lot of people wrong.
Yeah, very attractive team to go to now.
Yeah, for sure. Especially with the move to Vegas coming up next year.
Definitely.
Yeah, moving on then. We've got one of the highest rated linebackers, CJ Mosley.
Yeah.
Leaving the Ravens and joining the Jets. Another team making big moves.
Yep, big loss for the Ravens again.
A lot of people questioning the Ravens move in general this year, especially on the defensive side. Yeah. They've got rid of a lot of good defensive players.
Yeah, he's a multiple Pro Bowler. He was very important in the defense for the Ravens. So I think the Jets are getting a good player. Jets are a bit similar to the Raiders, as in I think they're definitely going strongly in the right direction.
Yeah.
But an attractive team to go to. It could definitely improve massively over the next couple of years.
I think a theme that we've seen this off-season, and it's definitely the case here, is the market for linebackers. Once again, I think Quan Alexander going to the 49ers has completely changed this market, and that's really benefited CJ Mosley here, getting 5 years and $85 million within New York. That makes him now the league's 3rd highest paid linebacker. And people are saying he's now earning more than Luke Kuechly, who is, in many people's eyes, probably the best linebacker in the league. And people are saying he's good, but is he that good? This is a guy who's got 1.5 sacks over his last 3 seasons.
Yeah, that's true.
He does have the potential to be a Pro Bowler, and they obviously think he's going to be, throwing that much money at him. Do you think he can get there?
Definitely. Well, I think a good sign for the Jets. I predict good things for him.
Yeah, I mean, I also, same as the Colts, money isn't an issue this off-season for the Jets. They've got enough cap space. They can splash the cash a bit.
But, and I'm pretty sure CJ Mosley's already been to the Pro Bowl a couple of times, so definitely got it in him.
Right, next then, we've got Steven Nelson, cornerback, signing for the Steelers.
Yeah, this one's probably on the list of the top 25 is the more questionable one.
Yeah, I agree.
I think he's got the potential to be good, but I think he was a weak link in a weak defense last season.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of quarterbacks targeted him when they played against the Chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
Who had a poor secondary. But it'll be interesting to see.
I mean, he is ultimately still a very good player.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. So it'll be interesting to see what goes on with that, how he gets on.
Yeah, I mean, you sort of look at the Steelers, and cornerback is a priority, but I think they could have maybe spent money elsewhere first. It would have made more sense. I mean, I saw they've just signed Dante Moncrief at wide receiver. They could have maybe went for someone a little bit better there, maybe Golden Tate sort of player. But obviously they see cornerback as a big enough need to give him that money.
I think they did need it.
Next, to the Green Bay Packers, the best team in the NFL. The 2019, or the 2020, I should say, Super Bowl champions. Zadarius Smith, another Ravens defensive player, leaving.
Yeah, another big loss for the Ravens, I think. Great signing for the Packers. He was a very good linebacker. Had a great season last year.
Yeah, definitely his breakthrough year last year, no doubt.
Yeah, he had quite a few sacks. He's a good rusher, a good quarterback rusher, and pass rusher. I think Packers making some big statements in defense with
the other
two who we'll get onto.
I was just about to say, as a Packers fan, it's such a surprise seeing us spend this much money in an off season where usually such a rely on the draft team. We don't really spend much in free agency because we draft very well, so we usually just stick to that, stick to what we know. Yeah. But I don't know. I think a lot of Green Bay fans would agree as well. It's just so nice to see us going out and spending this money, showing we're aggressive for once. We're ready to push for this. Like we don't want to rebuild. We want to get back in the division now. Go for the top again now. Yeah. And I think this signing's huge. An edge rusher it was our number one need easily, and the fact that last year he got 8.5 sacks and 25 quarterback hits. If he can produce that again this year, this signing's more than worth it for what we're paying him. $60 million a year is fine. If he can produce that every year, we're fine paying that.
Yeah, definitely. But good addition to the team, I think.
For sure. Yeah. Well, the best tight end available at the minute, who still's got a team, but is interviewing with the Saints today, I believe. Yeah. Jared Cook from the Raiders.
Well, my prediction was between the Saints and returning to
the Raiders.
Yeah, but I don't think the Raiders have the cap space to keep him. But,
no, it looks unlikely now.
Yeah, definitely. When they can also improve on other players with that space. He's definitely one of the best tight ends in the game. I thought because I think he could add to literally any offense in the league. So, if he ends up with the Saints, it's a very good sign.
A former Packer himself.
Yeah, I was going to say, I thought a mistake for the Packers to get rid of him.
The system we played under McCarthy never really utilised tight ends.
Yeah.
As history has shown.
Yeah, definitely. But we'll see how this
since
goes.
Moving to the Raiders, he's totaled 122 catches, 187 targets, 1,584 yards and 8 touchdowns in altogether 32 games in the 2 seasons he was there, which for an offense which was nowhere near like the best in the NFL, they are good numbers, you'd have to say.
Yeah.
And obviously, Ben Watson just retiring with New Orleans, they're my pick to sign him. Obviously meeting with them today, it just seems perfect match. And like I was saying, in that disappointing offense, he's going to be upgrading from Derek Carr to Drew Brees at quarterback, get better receptions, arguably more catches. He'll be hoping more touchdowns, maybe even have a Pro Bowl,
Yeah, I think he could too.
He has the potential to have a Pro Bowl,
He'll join a good Saints offense and definitely help them a lot.
That's going to be a playoff team. I will say one thing, that's going to be a very tough division this year, in my opinion, the NFC South.
Yeah, I think there's quite a few divisions that are going to be very close.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely this year.
Mm-hmm.
Especially in the AFC, I think especially a lot of teams are getting a lot closer.
Definitely.
Right, next, a bit of another standard one. Roger Saffold joining the Titans at guard.
Yeah. I think he's the best guard available.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, he's very experienced. I think he's over 30, I think, now.
Yeah, he's 31.
Definitely a good player. He's gone to the Titans, hasn't
he? It's pretty standard signing, but at the same time, there's still quite a big gamble there because of his injury issues over the last few years.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, they obviously see enough in him to maybe not, and he would have done a physical before he signed. They obviously think his health's okay, but you know, he's obviously a talented guard. Super Bowl last year, but he's been with McVay and the Rams for the last 2 years.
I think he's signed quite a big contract as well. I think he'll become the highest paid guard.
It is a big contract. 4 years, $44 million.
Yeah. And
$22.5 billion of that is guaranteed.
Yeah, so good money for him. They obviously believe in him.
Yeah, I definitely think for the current time, this is a pretty safe, good signing for the Titans, especially if he stays healthy. But that is the main question: can he stay healthy in the long term? Yeah. And that's sort of where the doubt creeps in.
Yeah. Yep.
Next, a pretty big one. The main quarterback to go in this free agency, Nick Foles, obviously Super Bowl MVP from 2 years ago, going to the Jackson.
I think he had to find it. He had to be a starting quarterback. I think.
He's too good. He's too good to sit on the bench.
I think he's got a lot. He's I think 30 years old now, so he's got the experience. He's got experience playing behind Carson Wentz, who's a very good quarterback, as well as getting quite a lot of game time. I think his form at the end of last year proved that the Super Bowl was not a fluke.
It wasn't a fluke.
Yeah, definitely so I think he's definitely got the quality. It's whether he can do it on a consistent basis. The Jags did need a good quarterback because Bortles, who's been released, isn't good enough, I don't think, to start. So it'll be interesting to see whether he can do it.
Personally, I like the signing. I think Nick Foles is a very good quarterback. He's proven that in his playoff runs with the Eagles over the last 2 years. It's just, does he warrant the 4-year, $88 million deal that Jacksonville have given?
That's the thing. It's very risky.
It could. I think this, out of all of the signings in this is probably the most 50-50 one. This could either go very well for Jacksonville or very bad.
I think it'll go well, in my opinion.
I hope it goes well. I definitely have a soft spot for Jacksonville.
He's a very likeable guy, so as well. So we'll see.
It's just looking at some of the stats. Yeah, Foles had an adjusted yards per attempt mark of 7 last season, and the league average was 7.3. So he is below the average for that.
Yeah.
And then for the Eagles in 2017, his adjusted yards was only 5.4. Which is on par with what Josh Allen had last season in his rookie season for the Bills.
So that'll be interesting.
But I don't think you can read that much into them because we all know he's better than Josh Allen. He's on a different level than Josh Allen.
Yeah.
So I don't think you can look at them stats. I think Nick Foles is good enough. I do rate him. I don't think he's worth $88 million over 4 years, but I do think he's worth close to that.
That's my concern with that, but I think.
Yeah, and I know people are saying his numbers are similar to Blake Bortles, who obviously they've just released, and people are saying it's a strange move. I do like this for the Jaguars. I also don't think this. A lot of people obviously saying the Jaguars maybe will go for their sort of franchise quarterback in a few years in the draft, but I do think Nick Foles could be there for a few years. I don't think this is sort of a 1-2 year thing and then he's done.
No, yeah, definitely. I agree with you.
Yeah,
on that one. I think he'll be. I reckon it'll be a success.
I hope it is. I like the Jags. I like their team.
Yeah. Well, they're division rivals, I think.
You don't.
Yeah.
No, but then next we have A weird one from the Bears, releasing Bryce Callahan, their cornerback from last year.
Yeah.
Opinions on that? He has not got a team yet. Where could he go?
That's an interesting one.
Another one who could really go to plenty of teams.
Yeah, well, I had originally predicted the Bears to go back there, but
go back to the Bears. That's looking more and more unlikely.
Yeah, I think he had a very good 2018 before he got injured.
For sure, yeah.
A very good, the best defense in the league, probably, arguably. Unpredictable season to season, but if he can find the form of last year and return from injury strongly.
I mean, that whole Bears defense was absolutely ridiculously good last year.
Yeah.
Coming from, I'm obviously a Packers fan, and it pains me to say it, but they probably did have the number one defense in the league.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with you on that one.
And I don't know, this is a strange one from the Bears. I don't really get it, but obviously they didn't say enough in him to keep him.
Yeah.
I'm not sure whether he wanted to leave or whether he wanted to stay, but from an outsider perspective, it doesn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one.
I mean, I guess one of the concerns could be he ended last season with a really bad injury, and I don't know if that might have played into them thinking it's regular occurrence, quite an injury-prone player. But before then, he appeared in all 13 games in a row for the rest of the season, and he made 45 tackles, 2 sacks, 6 pass deflections, and 2 interceptions, which is really good numbers.
Yeah, I'm very surprised. I'm surprised.
I guess he's not that big of a name because that whole Bears defense was really good. He sort of flew under the radar a bit, but they are solid
I think he
numbers.
could be a good signing for whoever takes him.
And I personally think the Bears signed his replacement, Buster Skrine, who left the Jets in free agency, and I think Callahan is going to go the other way. I think they're going to swap cornerbacks.
Yeah, potentially. Yeah.
I think Callahan to the Jets makes a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
Adam Gase was Chicago's offensive coordinator when Callahan joined the Bears in 2015.
Yeah.
And so they know each other pretty well. Adam worked with him before. And I think he's definitely... The cornerback is a position that the Jets need. And I think he would be a very, very good player to fill that position. They couldn't do much better with what's available.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one. Yeah, well, be interesting to see where he goes.
Yeah, he could literally still go anywhere. There's a lot of teams who are looking at secondaries this year.
Yeah, it's a popular position right now.
Yeah. Number 9, big name, played recently in the Super Bowl, had quite a good performance, and Ndamukong Suh, an absolute tank.
Yeah, well, he's one of the best D-line in the market.
Yeah, still hasn't got a team.
Yeah, great.
Amazingly.
Had a great year last year, especially in playoffs. He's very experienced as well. I think he's had nearly 10 years in the NFL. I predicted him to go to either the Cardinals or the Seahawks, although I would like him at the Colts. But
the Cardinals? I haven't heard anyone link him to the Cardinals yet. That's an interesting one.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see where he goes. I think you did mention that he wanted to stay on the West Coast.
He has came out and said he wants to stay on the West Coast. Yeah. That might be maybe the main reason why he hasn't got a team yet. Yeah. He's trying to find that market on the West Coast.
Yeah, but he'll improve any team.
Oh yeah, he might be 32. He's still a very good player, and unlike some of the previous players we've been mentioning, there's no injury concerns with Suh at all.
Mm-hmm.
Since 2011, he's played every game, started every game.
Yeah,
and he's only missed in his whole career. He's only missed games through suspension, not a single one through injury, which is it's impressive. Not many players can say that.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you.
Yeah, and I think that Seahawks defensive line, they're starting to really put some thought into that. It's starting to look really scary with Frank Clark, obviously signing the franchise tag to stay there.
Yeah.
I think they're really building that lineup to become one of the best in the NFL, and this would be a huge step towards doing that, even if it's just on a 1-year deal.
I agree with you on that one.
I think it's a step worth taking for the Seahawks.
Definitely.
Next, into a player you know very well, Pierre Desir.
What a guy.
Freed from Desir.
Yeah.
Your offense is terrified.
Well, the Texans' offense were very terrified, especially Hopkins, who I wonder if he's left his pocket yet, because he had Hopkins covered. Well, he had the game of his career against the Texans.
Yeah, that was he. I remember watching that game, and he was unbelievable.
Yep. Well, he put away one of the best wide receivers in the league. And definitely one of the hottest last year.
In my opinion, the best wide receiver in the league now. I can't think of one better than him.
One of the best, yeah.
Maybe Devontae Adams.
Yeah, well, it's biased. But I think it's very important that we got him back this year, because
he was too good to lose for years.
Yeah, he had a great season last year. He's experienced enough. He's had a few seasons now in the NFL. He's also, I think, even though he's starting to get recognised now, he's so underrated.
I was just about to say, in my opinion, very underrated player.
Yeah, so it's great to have him. Having him and Kenny Moore as our cornerbacks are two very strong players.
Yeah, that's a really good secondary.
So, very happy with this. So what's your opinion on that?
Yeah, like you were mentioning before, I just remember watching that Texans game, and at the time, this is why I think he's an underrated player. I'd never heard of him before.
Yeah.
You mentioned him. You watch the Colts every week.
Yeah.
I was sort of thinking, he can't be that good. I haven't heard his name. I remember watching that Colts Texans game and thinking, this guy's unreal. That game, he was unbelievable.
Well, we stopped.
He didn't let Hopkins get anything.
Oh, yeah, he was given the tough job of
marking
Hopkins, which...
If you get asked which wide receivers you want to go up against, Hopkins is pretty low down on that list.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely one of the best.
Obviously, didn't face him.
Didn't face him until he stepped up to the situation, and
and I think
excited for his future with us, because
I think he was always going to resign with you. You have the money. You have the money to sign pretty much the whole league, and I think to let him go would have been so stupid from you.
We've got a very good team chemistry right now, and we very. Well, I think it'd be stupid not to keep him.
Yeah, it would be ridiculous. He was too good to let go.
Before it was announced, I did predict him to come back to the Colts. Because I thought
it makes sense.
Yeah, definitely.
Next, we've got a signing which I think could become very good. I really like this signing. Jordan Hicks signing with the Cardinals from the Eagles. Yeah, very good linebacker.
He's a Super Bowl winner with the Eagles.
Everyone remembers the famous play.
The
force fumble.
Yeah, he's a rock solid linebacker who can hold very strong in the middle of the defense, and a very important player, especially a player that the Cardinals could do with, who have been very poor recently.
The Cardinals just all over have been very poor.
Yeah, he's still pretty young at 26, I think he is. It just depends on injuries, I think. Has he missed quite a few games recently?
He is. That once again is the question mark, just like many other players in this free agency. His fitness isn't the greatest. He's only actually went through a full 16-game season once in his career, which was in 2016. And over the past 2 years, he's missed 14 games.
Yeah. So it's,
and he missed 18 games in 2015, which was his rookie season. So that is the main question mark.
If they can get a fit player, I think it's, as you said, could be a great signing.
Yeah, well, I think if you sort of ignore his injuries and think about him as a player, I can't think of many better linebackers in the league.
Mm-hmm.
And I think for what they're paying him, they've only given $12 million in guaranteed money, which, if this doesn't work out for the Cardinals, it's not that big of an issue. It's not that much money.
Yeah, I agree.
I just think this is a really good signing. I think this is even better in the long term if he stays healthy. I think this could really improve the Cardinals
massively.
I think they needed a signing like this to sort of get them out of this sort of mediocrity where they are at the minute.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I agree with you on that.
Next, we've got Matt Paradis signing with the Panthers as centre.
Yep. I think he's an experienced centre, a good guy.
Yeah, the Panthers needed a centre after Ryan Khalil retired.
Yeah, definitely. Gives Newton that extra protection. I think Newton was sacked nearly 30 times last season. He needs that protection. So, and the Panthers had a fairly average year on offense last year. So to give Cam Newton that extra time is definitely very important for them, and it means got a bit of extra time in the pocket.
Once again, had his injury concerns, but not as bad as the other players on the list. But when he's playing, he's one of the most effective blockers in the league. And obviously, they need Ryan Khalil, legend, retired. They needed a big guy to fill that role, and I think they couldn't have done much better than Matt Paradis. Obviously, done really well for the Broncos the last few years, and he signed there for 3 years, $27 million. Yeah. It's a good deal for the Panthers, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one.
I think I know people are saying on Twitter and different places that the Panthers are sort of also structuring this contract in a way where if this doesn't work out, they can't get out of it pretty easily, and it won't damage them. Yeah. So I think for player and team, I like this signing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree.
Right, moving on. Back to the Packers. Preston Smith, linebacker.
Yeah, I think that's definitely another good addition for the Packers, along with Amos and the other Smith.
Well, we're not on the Amos yet.
Yeah, no, but we all know who went.
Yeah.
But along with those two, I think Packers have definitely improved their defense massively, and I think he's another big part of that. I think he's a good linebacker, and I think he'll be a success for the Packers.
Yeah, I think, like I was saying, the spend spree that we're going on, especially on defense this year, we've never really seen anything like it for a few years, and I think that edge rusher, which was our priority, that's improved massively with Preston Smith, Zadarius Smith. That double Smith action. Yeah. It's going to be worrying people.
It will be,
and it's likely that Clay Matthews will be leaving, so we did sort of need to fill that role. Yeah. It's an aging area on our team, which we have made younger and also improved at the same time, which is what you want. You want that with every signing.
Yeah.
And we're not giving them that much money, $30 million annually, which sounds like a lot, but he's only now the 11th highest paid edge rusher, edge defender on the market for now, because people could get paid even more who are still available. So I like it. I like all our moves, but I think this one will go under the radar a bit, but it's a very solid signing.
Yeah, definitely.
Because, Mike Pettine is going to be loving life right now. He's got Preston Smith, Zadarius Smith, Kenny Clark, Mike Daniels, Kyle Fackrell, who can all pressure the quarterback now in 2019. And as a Packers fan, this really excites me because our defense was what needed improved the most.
Yeah, definitely.
Everyone knows with the go at quarterback, your offense is always going to be fine. It was the defense that needed improved. Defense wins championships.
True.
And then moving on to number 4, another Packer, a very, very controversial move. Adrian Amos leaving the Bears.
Yeah. Well,
I think it speaks volumes that the Bears can win the division and their safety still wants to join the Packers.
Yeah, there's probably 4, sadly, for him.
Whoa. No way.
Personally, this is, I think, one of the best signings in this offseason so far. I rate him as one of the best safeties in the market and one of the best safeties last season. Obviously, with the Smith duo, it helps the Packers defense massively. And with the addition of maybe another edge rusher in the draft, I think Packers have lined up a very good, solid defense for the new season.
Yeah. I just think I like the signing because it's very safe. He's not. There's not a lot of things that could go wrong here, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
We know exactly what we're getting in him. We've played him twice a year. We know who he is. We know what he does. You know, we knew what we were getting, and we're not paying that much. 37 million over 4 years. It's not a lot to commit to a safety who's been really good. According to the Pro Football Focus rankings, he's the third best in the league, only behind Earl Thomas and Harrison Smith.
As well.
You know, it's really good company to be in. But I also think this signing makes the Bears weaker, who are in our division.
Yeah, definitely.
Probably favourites to top the division.
Yeah,
so by us taking their players, I think it's only a good thing.
For the last few days before these signings that the Packers made, I thought the Bears were going to run away with the next couple division titles. But Packers are definitely coming back into run with a good draft.
Yeah. I also think our secondary is getting so much better. I think I've mentioned Mike Patine before, but he's going to really be loving this off-season. We're putting together such a good group for him. Our secondary now, we have, you know, Jay Alexander at cornerback. I hope we bring back Brashon Breland. He was very good at cornerback as well.
Mm-hmm.
And safety was what we needed to improve. And Adrian Amos being the most the versatile safety he is, I just think he could do really well. I think we couldn't have signed a better safety. At first, obviously, I wanted the big names, you know, the Landon Collins, the Earl Thomas. Yeah. But when I see the price that we paid for Amos, I think this is such a smart signing from us to take from a divisional rival for a cheap price. I think it's just solid. I'm a big fan of it now.
Yeah, great sign.
Next, probably the biggest name of this free agency. By quite a bit. Quite a lot of controversy.
Another controversial one, yeah.
Yeah, very controversial. Le'Veon Bell signing for the Jets.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think it's a very good signing for the Jets because we all know how good Le'Veon Bell is. Obviously, there's the question of his discipline and obviously with him sitting out a season.
Loyalty,
Yeah, I think that's something that...
I think you've also got the question of his fitness being out for a year. Yeah, that was probably playing on the Jets' mind.
Yeah, but I'm sure they believe that he's fit enough and they can get any kind of form out of him than what he had before.
He is a player who you would class as a superstar player. He fits in that mould, that sort of bracket.
I'd say before obviously sitting a year out, he was probably the best running back in the league, if not one of the best.
You definitely put him up there with the Gurleys and the Barkleys.
Yeah, definitely. Probably at the top. If he's on form, I think definitely helps the Jets massively. They needed a good running back, and it takes the pressure off Darnold massively, who kind of had too much on his hands last year.
Yeah, I agree. I think there was that New York media as well. That can never help a player.
Definitely, yeah. I think the pressure on Darnold was massive, especially with Baker Mayfield doing as well as he did.
Yeah.
And with a good run game that can back up the passing game. I think Darnold will have a much better year himself and also be much more himself as well, because I don't think any rookie will be able to perform under such pressure.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting. I think Darnold will want to prove something after all the hype around Baker Mayfield, and especially.
I think the Jets they've seen the cap space that they have. They know that they've been average for a few years. This signing makes a statement. You know, this is the Jets saying, we're not happy being this average team. We want to be competing with the Patriots for this division. We want to be making the playoffs. We want to get back to winning ways. We don't just want to hang around, just sort of be the second best team to the Patriots. And I think the money that they're paying him, obviously, running backs typically don't get paid $52 million for 4 years, but like we were saying, Bella's a special player. You give him that money because you know he's going to do well. Like this, there's no question marks here. He's going to be a good player. He's going to get you yards. He's going to get you touchdowns. He's going to get you to where you want to be. And like you were saying, I think the key thing here is I don't think Donald is the star player in the Jets anymore, and I think that'll sort of suit him for this year. Because, fair enough, in a few years' time, he'll want to be the main man. He's the franchise quarterback for the Jets, or they want him to be anyway. And I just think maybe taking the pressure off his shoulders is the best thing that the Jets can do. Just sort of let him relax, do his own thing, and if he needs to get the running game going sometimes, there's no one better that you want to put the ball in the hands to than Le'Veon Bell.
Yeah, definitely. Big signing for the Jets and definitely making them a lot more appealing to and attractive to other players to go to.
Yeah, I mean, I think they already had that attraction being in New York, but the fact that players can come in now and go, we get to play with Le'Veon Bell, we get to play with, Sam Darnold, CJ Mosley, Jamal Adams. I think the Jets look a lot better now, attractive to players.
Looks like a fun team to be at as well.
Yeah, they're the biggest team in New York now, for sure.
Oh, definitely.
Sorry, Adam.
Say that.
Number 2, we have Earl Thomas joining the Ravens. This sort of came out of nowhere. No one really saw this coming until yesterday when it was announced.
Yeah, it came out of nowhere. He's probably, I'd say he's the best safety in the market.
Yeah, I think it's hard to argue. He's probably the best safety in the league.
He's very experienced. He's had something like 8 or 9 years in the NFL, I think.
Yeah.
I think with the Ravens losing some of their, releasing some of their
defensive players. It was a weird one. It's been a weird off season for the Ravens.
So I think this was massive for them because they needed it.
Yeah, they needed to replace Eric Weddle, who obviously joined the Rams.
Yeah, and plus,
and who better to replace Eric Weddle than the best safety in the league?
Yeah. He had trouble. I think Earl Thomas will be happy with the move because he's been wanting to leave Seattle for a while. Didn't turn up to preseason last year, trying to get a move. But had another good year with the Seahawks. So I think it's a very good signing for the Ravens, especially in a time when they needed it.
Yeah, I mean, as a neutral, I like this signing because obviously with the Browns signing OBJ and all these moves that they've been making, people were starting to think the Browns are going to run away with this division. Whereas I think the Ravens signing Earl Thomas goes, we're here as well. We can sign the big names too.
Yeah.
We have the money. We've got the players. I mean, like you were saying, they've got rid of a lot of their defense, which is very questionable, I still think, despite the signing. I'm not sure why they got rid of some of the players that they did.
Yeah.
When it done so well last season, but I think we can both agree there's no better safety in the league at the minute than Earl Thomas. And if he works out how they want him to, they're going to be one of the best defenses again.
Yeah.
It's that simple. And paired with, assuming Lamar Jackson can build on what he done last year, and I don't know, I think they get a few more pieces offensively. Obviously, they've signed Mark Ingram. They've got another running game in there now.
Yeah, so
I think the Ravens, don't write them out just yet. They could still top the Browns. They could still do it
because the Browns are still very new. With a new team, and
if I had to make a prediction now, I would have the Browns winning it. But I don't want to write up the Ravens just yet.
I think the Steelers are out of it.
I think this could come down to a game or two.
I don't know. It might be.
If you ask me a fixture I'm looking forward to most next year, I think Browns Ravens is up there. That's going to be one hell of a game now.
That definitely. I think there's so many games to look forward to now.
I am definitely looking forward to Earl Thomas marking Odell Beckham Jr., which I never thought I would say would happen in a Browns Ravens game, but it has.
Oh, definitely. Never.
Right. So now, number 1.
The big
number 1 according to sportingnews.com. Anyway,
yes.
Trey Flowers leaving the New England Patriots and signing for the Packers' divisional rivals in the Detroit Lions.
Yeah, massive signing for the Lions. He's obviously a Super
No
Bowl
doubt.
winner. last year. Had a great year. Worked under Matt Patricia.
Matt Patricia at New England,
yeah, for a few years. I think he's an elite pass rusher.
Yeah, one hell of a player.
Best in the market. Replaces Ziggy Ansah.
Who needed to be replaced. Obviously, a Detroit icon.
I think very good move for the Lions. He can defend on both. He's very good defensively on both pass and run offense. And also massive for the Lions, who weren't very good in defense last year.
Yeah, I mean,
over 20 points a game.
The Patriots made it very obvious that they wanted to bring him back, but he was
on to new things, I guess.
The $90 million over 5 years, and the Patriots just couldn't give him that money back.
Yeah,
but I think he warrants that money. He's an incredible player.
I mean, massive signing for a team like the Lions.
I think
improve, especially
in his position, you think of powerhouse, sort of dominant players like Khalil Mack and Von Miller. But his play style is so unique that I think it actually worries quarterbacks more sometimes because they don't know what they're facing.
Yeah, definitely.
Or it's not what they're used to. It's something he just brings a new play style to that position.
Yeah, I think
he's, in my opinion, definitely top 3 defensive ends in the league.
Oh, definitely.
The best on the market by a mile, like you were saying.
I think he's only
I don't know.
I think he's like 25 years old.
Yeah, I was going to say he's not that old either. He's got years left.
He's had enough experience.
And it worries me because we've got to play them twice a year.
Especially after what happened on the final day of last season.
Yeah, I mean, I'd rather that Rodgers wasn't facing Trey Flowers, but sometimes you've got to deal with what's in front of you.
But massive signing for the Lions as well, who have also got Coleman, Jesse James, and Amendola. So
they're rebuilding the Patriots, the Detroit Patriots over there. Matt Patricia's getting the gang back together.
Yeah, reunion. But great signing for the Lions.
Yeah, so that's the top 25. So if you would have to say at the minute, obviously free agency isn't over yet, who is your winner of free agency?
Yeah, well, start off with the loser. I think the loser is the Giants so far.
Yeah, the Giants, I think a lot of people would agree with you there.
With getting rid of so many good defensive players, but they've obviously made some very good signings as well.
They've came back in the last few days.
So it depends how they carry on. But I'd say the winner, there's a few teams. I think the Jets have done well getting Bell, massive signing for them.
Not just Bell, I think defensively the Jets have put some massive additions in as well. They're using their cap very wisely.
Have gone massive by getting Odell, obviously. As well as who was it again? Richardson.
This time Sheldon Richardson. Yeah.
They've increased. I think the was as well as Coleman, James, and Amendola. So there's a few teams going for it. I think. I want to mention definitely the Packers.
Of course.
I think that improved defensive players, especially Amos, who I rate very, very highly.
Yeah.
The team I've probably been more disappointed with so far. It's probably been a Colts fan. The money we have to spend on.
I was going to say, as a neutral, I'll look at how much money you have, and I'm seeing the players that you could go for so easily, and you're not even attempting to get them, and it just doesn't make a lot of sense from a neutral's point of view.
Yeah.
But then I can sort of say at the same time, maybe Frank Reich doesn't want to mess up that chemistry that worked so well last year. That sort of team spirit of, hashtag 32, we're ranked the lowest team in the league. This group of players fight together. We're not the worst team in the league.
Yeah. I know in the last, I think, half an hour, the Colts did sign someone on free agency.
All right.
We just signed Devin Funchess, the wide receiver.
Oh, the wide receiver. Yeah.
Who's a tall, good player.
You did need another wide receiver.
Yeah, we did. I would say. But, we got him.
I also think the Packers need another wide receiver.
We've also got Kane, who we drafted in 2017, who was one of the top wide receivers coming out of the draft. So if he can return from injury, I think we're still in a good position with a good draft, which I trust our management very
after
good.
last season.
We had the best draft class last year.
When you also, I believe you were ranked the worst off season last year, and then ended up the best off season.
So I trust our guys massively.
And that's evidence that you never really know how the deals are going to go until the season starts.
Yeah, definitely. What about you? What's your
at the minute? I would say the losers for me. I think I've got to agree with you on the Giants. I think I don't really know what the Giants are doing. It's always just seems very questionable. Obviously, they got Jabril Peppers back from the OBJ trade, but that still doesn't. Is he really the star player that they need?
No.
I mean, you've got to ask, is he better than Landon Collins? And the answer to that is no.
Mm-hmm.
And I would also say the losers at the minute are the Bears.
Mm-hmm.
I think getting rid of Callahan and Amos, and I saw they just signed a subpar running back. I can't remember who it is at the minute, but they could have went for someone like Mark Ingram or someone like that.
Yeah.
And I don't know, they're just not really the position that they're in, where they could have pretty much solidified their spot of not winning the NFC North, but being the clear favourites for the NFC North.
Yeah.
And I think now they've given us and the Lions a sort of chance to get back up there. And the Vikings will be there again. They'll be pushing. I think it's going to be a very close division this year.
Yeah.
I think all teams could finish maybe bottom to top. I don't think the Bears will finish bottom, I'll be honest, but I think the rest of them could finish anywhere between top and bottom.
Yeah, definitely.
But and then I think the winners, I've got to say, the Jets. The Jets have, they've went out. They've got their star players. I think the Raiders getting Brown,
definitely,
getting their good players in. The 49ers, you could also give them a shout. There's a lot of teams who've had good off seasons so far, but if I had to ultimately pick a winner at the minute, I think I would have to go with the. I don't know. The Browns could maybe be up there as well, but no, I'll say the Jets at the minute.
Yeah.
The Jets have done really well.
Yeah, I agree with you.
CJ Mosley, incredible linebacker. Le'Veon Bell, absolute superstar running back. Like you were saying, arguably the best running back in the league.
Yeah. So
yeah. Oh well.
Some very interesting stuff. And more to come.
Of course, yeah. Free agency isn't finished yet. There's still a lot of people to sign for different teams.
Exciting drafts, not too long.
Might do a final recap podcast once free agency's over. Obviously, we'll be talking about the draft when that comes around. As well. The new season. A lot to look forward to in the NFL. Thanks for coming on, James.
Thank you for having me.
Love having your opinion on.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for listening, everyone. And we'll see you later.